Hey folks, Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin, and I got another rapid fire edition here. This is one I was going to hold off on until there were other subjects to talk about, but a few things broke, including one particular news story today that I'm just going to talk about, and I'm going to bring it up right now. Apparently, per reports, and of course you can take this with a grain of salt, but WWE is working on a settlement with Mauro Ranallo where he won't talk about the JBL situation. Essentially, they're admitting guilt. They're admitting that JBL did a bunch of stuff that they know was wrong, and they're going to just use a bunch of hush money, basically, as a way to shut Mauro Ranallo up. I'm not going to tell Mauro what to do. I mean, not that Mauro's ever going to watch this. Personally, if I were him, if I had enough money, I would say, no, forget it. You forget your settlement. Just let me write out my contract. I think that what he should do is write out his contract, not say anything, or not, say anything, obviously. Can't do unauthorized interviews until his contract's up in mid-August 2017, so a few months from now. And then he should just go, and if he wants to put people on blast, put people on blast. He does not strike me as that kind of person, but I think he would be perfectly justified in doing that. Now, if he wants to accept a settlement, get some money, cool, whatever. I'm not going to think any less of him. It's his life, it's his, it's his career, it's his money. He can do what he wants. If I were him, I would not do that. I would not accept a settlement. I would wait, write out the contract, put him on blast, because JBL deserves to be put on blast. Personally, I hope some sponsors pull out of WWE or threaten to pull out if they don't fire JBL. Because that's about the only thing that Vince is going to listen to. If the stock price drops, if the network subscription number drops, but especially sponsors. And if there's pressure from, the networks and stuff like that, USA and various other networks around the world, they carry WWE programming. If there's that kind of public pressure, then okay. But as for the Mauro situation, I hope he doesn't accept a settlement, but I'm not going to think anything less of him if he does. That's up to him. That's his life, his business. This does, in my opinion, I instantly thought about this when I read about it, is I thought about the Lashley situation with WWE where they let him out of his contract, but it was like a hush clause where they basically paid him a whole lot of money, most of his contract, if not the rest of his contract. But he can't talk about the reasons why he was fired, which rumors are could have to do with Michael Hayes. I mean, I don't know. I don't exactly remember. That was almost 10 years ago when that happened. But if I recall, it had to do possibly with some racism, which could have had to do with Hayes, could have had to do with somebody else. But this does remind me a lot of the Lashley situation where they hushed him up by paying him off. To me, it's just ridiculous because WWE needs to just get rid of JBL. I mean, because honestly, all they're going to do is they're just going to, if these reports are true, you're just going to add more fuel to the fans to chant Fire Bradshaw and bring signs like JBL bullied me and signs like that. And people are just going to make signs, by the way. They're not going to carry the signs in with them. They're going to carry the blank paper and make the signs. And if, WWE has such a problem with it, get rid of the guy. If you get rid of the guy, then guess what? A lot of this problem could go away. I'm not saying JBL is the sole cause of it. Vince could be encouraging it and likely is. But if they don't get rid of JBL and public pressure continues to mount and Mauro Ranallo doesn't accept a settlement, his business whether he does or not, if he doesn't accept a settlement, then I can't wait to hear what his interview will be. But all the best to Mauro Ranallo regardless, but hashtag fire JBL. Finn Balor's injury. Personally, I feel bad for Finn. He's got apparently he got a concussion from taking that forearm by Jinder Mahal, which Jinder's never struck me as an unsafe worker. He's never struck me as a very good worker, but he's never struck me necessarily as somebody unsafe that would intentionally go out there and hurt somebody. I think that it was a bad move to use that move, but people could say that Finn didn't time the bump properly and ran too fast into the forearm. That's entirely possible. But that being said, what's going to happen is hopefully Finn won't be out very long with a concussion. Maybe if he's just out till like Payback, And that's okay. I mean, I would almost say put Finn on SmackDown and let him do something like that, because Raw, you have enough talent on Raw. And especially with a payback, or with payback, and then with with another pay-per-view happening right in May and a takeover happening just before that, you're telling me, I mean, I believe that's Backlash, you're telling me that you can't call up a couple NXT stars to Raw? Put Balor on SmackDown. Hopefully he's not out too long with a concussion. I don't think he's injury prone, but age and mileage that he's had on the indies could add up. I think he's still got a lot of impact left as a talent. I think that Balor could be a star you could build around, but if he does keep getting injured, if he can't stay healthy, then maybe you got to think about just giving him a mid-card run. The guy is money, though, and the guy does deserve a chance to be able to shine. So hopefully he's not out too long with the concussion. Hopefully it's not too severe, though it's really hard. Even with better medical science, it's still hard to gauge just how severe concussions can be until you test him. It could be a week until he's cleared. It could be 6 weeks. It could be 2 months. It could be 4 months. It's hard to tell. But hopefully Balor recovers. And I want to take my final point. I want to take a moment to just say this is based on a thread that I saw, and I don't remember if it was on Facebook. It was a screenshot from Facebook or Instagram or even Twitter. It was from some social media site, not Tumblr, because fuck Tumblr. You're horrible, horrible social media, inventing all this crap. And I hope that anything involved with Tumblr gets burned to the ground. Not the people in charge of it. They're just doing their jobs. But I would be happy if Tumblr just went away altogether, because Tumblr is just a terrible, terrible social media site with people inventing all kinds of different things to give themselves labels because they can't understand that, they're human beings. They don't need to be all special and unique and invent shit that actually doesn't exist, like different genders and different all kinds of stuff or whatever. That's another story, though. I saw something about, based on the Braun attack, what Braun did to Reigns last week, that Braun should break into the hospital, beat up Reigns again. I mean, if I saw this right, beat up Reigns again, and then, I'm not going to use the word, violate his wife, and then kill his daughter. Now look, I'm not a fan of Reigns, but there is a difference between Reigns the character and Reigns the person. Reigns the character, obviously it's just my hands here. There's a difference. They're not in lockstep like that. Okay? Reigns the character, that isn't very interesting, by the way. And there's Roman Reigns the family man, who has a wife, aka Discount Rihanna. That's what I call it. I don't know what her name. I don't care what her name is. She never struck me as a bad person. If they're happy together, great. And he's got a daughter. I know she's pretty young. I don't know exactly how young. I think she's 5 or 6 at the oldest. Why would you want to hurt the wife or hurt the daughter? What'd they do? I mean, they're just let people live their lives, especially as they're talented. There is a difference between the character and the actual person. Like that's just absolutely ridiculous. And those people that were actually saying that, not the people that were chanting "You deserve it" on Raw, that was great. I love that, because maybe WWE will get the message about Roman Reigns and actually do something good with him. They won't, because they're determined to make him the new John Cena, and it won't work. But saying that stuff about his family, no. That is just complete BS, absolute crap, and how dare you guys say that? How dare you? How dare you guys say that? I mean, really. What did his family ever do to you? Oh, right, they did nothing except exist. Which I kind of wish that fans like this didn't exist, because they give wrestling fans, the actual intelligent wrestling fans with a brain, and, an actual brain stem that worked, and not generations of inbreeding like these morons clearly have had. Look, he's a person. He's not a very interesting character, but he's a person. He's a father. He's got a wife. Come on, guys. Split the two. Don't say that about his wife and his kid. Come on. I'm all for edginess, but it's like, look, what Braun did this past week was great. Absolutely great. But let's not go and bring the family into it and say that. I mean, that borderline that's bordering on what Vince McMahon said that he wanted to have happen to Undertaker's wife when he like yelled at Paul Heyman. He said he was going to have a motorcycle gang violate Undertaker's wife. That was back in their '03 feud. That was really uncomfortable and not something that should have been said. But that was on TV. I mean, it's like Vince, the crazy guy that he has, said that. Guys, don't do that. Just know the difference between wrestling characters and the actual people. I don't like Lex Luger the person because of stories I've heard and the fact I believe that he killed Miss Elizabeth. But I can split between the two, the wrestler and the person. There are certain people I don't like, but come on, guys. Let's just have half a brain on us here and do this and just realize that they're people at the end of the day and they're playing characters. So yeah. Anyway, that's what I gotta say about those subjects. So do you agree, disagree, like, share, comment, subscribe. Twitter link is in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin. I will see you soon.